Welcome, class of 2025. My name is Martha Umphrey. I'm Provost and Dean of the Faculty, and I can't tell you how delighted we all are to be with you here today. Here we are at Senior Assembly, where we celebrate your remarkable academic achievements. Think back to 2021, our first post-COVID convocation, which was, weirdly, outside, with Biddy Martin speaking on a big screen to you about an Emily Dickinson poem. A memorable way to begin college. But you may not have noticed a particular feature of that convocation ceremony. Then the faculty sat in the center of that outside seating space, that grand room of nature, and you sat on the periphery. Today, here in this grand room in Johnson Chapel, the symbolic heart of the college, you are in the center. Indeed, you are now the college's beating heart, and your faculty surrounds you with the warmth of their admiration and brightness of their hopes for you. So what have we done here? Why does all that we have done together matter? What is at the heart of an Amherst College education? This question is now so urgent. It's urgent because higher education is being challenged on two major fronts. One obvious and immediate challenge is political. The relentless, every day I open my eyes and look at the headlines, attacks on colleges and universities. With the famous mid-20th century wit Lillian Hellman in my head, as the sun comes up and the birds sing outside my windows, I ask myself, what fresh hell is this? I hear stories about lost funding, canceled visas, attacks on particular kinds of curricular offerings, an intentional diminishing of the sciences and the arts, the hallmarks of a thoughtful, curious, joyful society. That political challenge has really affected our community this spring. But today I'd like to say a few things about the second challenge, which is technological, AI. This challenge is really existential. It goes well beyond worries that in a weak and exhausted moment you might have used ChatGPT as a writing assistant. Unless it proves disastrously unworkable and hallucinatory, which is quite possible, a snake eating its own tail, AI will outlive and capitalize on our current political vicissitudes. And it is so enticing. In his recent article in the Chronicle of Higher Education, Scott Latham paints a stark portrait of AI's future impact on higher education, projecting a vision of a learning environment turned upside down by AI's creative destruction. AI, we know, will boost discovery and innovation in many fields. It will also, with the right, finely tuned prompt, and here I'm quoting, develop hypotheses, scrape data, and write a full-fledged academic paper in minutes. Moreover, Latham suggests that human-led instruction will persist mainly as a vestige of times past, the educational equivalent of record shops and drive-in movie theaters. In large numbers, students, he thinks, will be assisted by personalized AI bots whose approaches to learning are tailored to your needs, who never need sleep, and who can teach infinite numbers of you. In the imagination of Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, this AI agent is a, quote, super competent colleague that knows absolutely everything about my whole life, every email, every conversation I've ever had, but doesn't feel like an extension. As Latham conjures a future student's experience, maybe a younger sibling of yours, AI agents that have evolved with a student throughout college will be able to design assessments that reflect that student's learning style, and undergraduates will be able to take the entirety of their college education with them on a portable, scalable blockchain. Every syllabus, every text, every assignment, every interaction with every professor, every grade, every lecture, every experiential activity, every email, and an AI agent that can mine that vast repository as needed. Amazing, or not. Will this happen? This teaching mode may be cheaper, more flexible, and more tailored than the way we organize education now. Indeed, it may radically alter higher education. But is it education, precisely? And that raises a corollary question. What exactly have we done here with you over these past 4 years that can and should endure outside this AI landscape, not as a vestige of times past, but as an essential project? In yet another article, and there are many of these, on AI and higher education, Will the Humanities Survive AI? Dee Graham-Burnett, who teaches at Princeton, argues that for all its incredible potential as an educational companion, an AI agent does not know and can never know what it means to be human. Precisely because AI will take over knowledge production, he argues, we are entering a moment in which we will develop a new consciousness of ourselves as human, one in which we do the work of being rather than knowing. AI can render vast amounts of information, but it cannot engage the projects of living, sensing, experiencing, choosing, feeling, failing, and learning from that. To be human, Burnett argues, is not to have answers. It is to have questions and to live with them. To be human is, one might say, to be in a constant state of education. How should we live? What should we do with our lives? How should we face our own mortality? Those are, of course, enduring philosophical questions. And interestingly, both Latham and Graham see a renaissance of the humanities, and I would say more generally the liberal arts, in the age of AI. That is perhaps more than a mere silver lining in a dark and dystopian algorithmic world. This shift to a heightened consciousness around the question, what does it mean to be human, is at a place like Amherst already a lighthouse on the sometimes rough seas of learning, an intermittent but piercing beacon pointing toward land if we can just see its beam through the wind and rain of assignments and deadlines. Thus, to respond to the potentially shattering effects of AI, one must ask, in general terms, what fundamentally is a liberal arts education? It's easy enough to say, we teach critical thinking. But that true statement doesn't answer AI's parlay. We need to ask, what is education's relation to being human? Let me offer two answering definitions of education. One final compare and contrast assignment for you to ponder as you sit in this chapel all together, likely for the last time. Burnett quotes the brilliant postcolonial scholar Gayatri Spivak. Education, she says, is, quote, the non-coercive rearrangement of desire. I think partly that means, where will all this effort I've put in semester after semester, exam after exam, take and reshape me? What really do I want to know? Where am I pulled, and how, and by whom? At the center of this vision of education is an ethos of desire. One is drawn in different directions by virtue of one's relationships, not with algorithms and AI agents who may get to know you but cannot really know you as you experience yourself as human, but with friends, professors, coaches, mentors, readings, experiments, thinking. The second definition of education is quite different. And here, at this pulpit, I feel I must confess that I have never, ever thought I would quote a pope, especially in the same breath with Gayatri Spivak. That confession aside, at a conference in 2020, Pope Francis said this: education is above all a matter of love and responsibility handed down from one generation to another. Love and responsibility handed down. Francis's definition of education is less about psychic relations of desire propelling you forward than it is about the affective and moral energies of historical inheritance. That's the contrast and the compare and contrast. But his emphasis on love resonates with Spivak's insistence on the non-coercive shaping power of the transmission of ideas. For both, it seems to be the case, or at least possible, that relation and attachment drive and define the educational project. Put more absurdly, can a chatbot really educate you if education requires desire, love, and guidance? Can it provoke in you an ideal version of yourself as a fully human you? Can it sit with you in vow, or offer you dinner while you're stuck here over Thanksgiving break, or stay over in office hours to help you through your thesis writing block, or come to your games and concerts and readings, or write a graduate school recommendation that tells a compelling story about how you have changed and grown over your college career? No, it cannot. But we can and do, because of the attachments we form over your 4 years here, which help you to sculpt an always learning, very human self out of the thinking and feeling that your education has asked of you. I truly believe that Amherst's vision of a liberal arts education will continue in the face of these many headwinds, because with Spivak and Francis, I believe that relationships with each other and across time are inalterably constitutive of that project. If it and we have succeeded, the spirit inspiring that education now infuses the way you will think and feel and be as you head off to the grand adventures ahead of you. Just as you seniors, of whom we are so proud, are now the heart of this room. This is the heart of what we, your faculty, staff, friends, and mentors, have wanted to offer you, if you have wanted it, and if you will have it. I hope in your time here you have felt these gifts of love and responsibility, of human relationality, and the fullness of shared experience. And I hope after you graduate and leave this beautiful place, you remember those gifts, carry them forward, and come back often. And with that, it's time to begin the awards. All right, here we go. Ready? The Addison Brown Scholarship, Shreya Joshi. The Charles Hamilton Houston Fellowship, Belaine Abdurrahman. Howard Hill Mossman Trophy, Patience Coombe. Psi Upsilon Prize, divided among Sydney Bluestein. Charlotte Huang. Patience Coombe. And Alyssa Zhu. Thomas H. Wyman 1951 Medal, Emily Kim. The David Kerp 65 Stonewall Prize, Victoria Thomas. The Doshisha American Studies Prize, divided among Karina Maciel, Roxanne Main, and Vale McCaffrey. The George Rogers Taylor Prize, Vale McCaffrey. The Donald S. Pitkin Prize, divided between Isaiah Doble, and Amelie Justo Sainz. The Architectural Studies Prize, divided among Stormie King, William Prince, and Patience Coombe. The Athanasios Dimitrios Skouras Prize, Alex Andrea Stewart. The Haas Prize, Zinel Islam. The Anna Baker Heap Prize, divided between Lily Krakoff, and Mariana Rivera Donsky. The Franklin S. Odo Prize, Gabrielle Avena. The Doshisha Asian Studies Prize, Nathaniel Thomas. The Manstein Family Award, Alyssa Zhu. The Biochemistry and Biophysics Prize, divided between Elena Malik, and Elizabeth Rose. The Oscar E. Chate Award, divided between Nora Doctor, and Sophia Taberski. The Edward Jones Prize, divided between Balain Abdurrahman, and Bryce Dawkins. The The Howard Waters Dowdy Prize, divided between Niall Henderson. And Jonathan Novak in absentia. The Frank Fowler Dow Prize, divided between Vaughn Armour and Laith Baluli. The Everett H. Pride Research Award, divided between Zoe Jonas and Catherine Manazar. The Computer Science Prize, divided between Soyeon Choi and Paul Vandervoort. The Bernstein Prize, Luxie Sun. The James R. Nelson Memorial Award, divided among Andy Byun, Ivy Haight, Guan Liang, and Uchen Tian. The James R. Nelson Prize, divided among Leo Kamen, Andrew Rosen, and Guilherme Santos Rocha in absentia. The Jean E. Reinley Prize, divided between Olamiposi Ajao and Luxie Sun. The Education Studies Prize for Leadership, Margot Peterson. The Education Studies Prize for Writing, Isaiah Doble. The 19th Century English Novel Prize, Joseph Mendoza. The Aliki Parati and Seth Frank 55 Prize, Gabrielle Avena. The Colin Armstrong Poetry Prize, Kai Lim. The Corbin Prize, Anna Zhao. The Elizabeth Bruss Prize, divided among Beatrice Agby, Mel Arthur, and Gabrielle Avena. The G. Armour Craig Award for Prose Composition, Tara Alalakun. The James Charlton Knox Prize, Eliza Faraday. The Peter Burnett Howe Prize, co-winners, Beatrice Agby, and Fahim Zaman. Runners-up, Admire Majira. And Pepe Martin. The Rolfe Humphreys Poetry Prize, Isabella Ahmad. The Rolfe Humphreys Poetry Prize honorable mentions, Mel Arthur. And Gabrielle Avena. The Ralph Waldo Rice Prize, divided between Pauline Bissell, and Merrick Lawson. The Stephen E. Witcher Prize, divided among Gabrielle Avena. Angela Chen. And Dustin Copeland. The Jan E. Dizard Prize in Environmental Studies, divided between Samantha Goldhirsch and Sylvie Wolf. The European Studies Prize, Charlotte Averill. the Film and Media Studies Prize, divided between Piper Moring and Victoria Thomas. The Frederick King Turgeon Prize, divided among Claire Massero, Harris Panner, and Jacob Young. The Walter F. Pond Prize, Clara Danhoff. The David F. Quinn Memorial Award, Devin Wilderman. The Consulate General Prize for German Studies, Charlotte Domitner. It takes a village. Anthony and Anastasia Nicolaides Award, Alexandra Olson. The Hutchins Prize, divided between Priscilla Lee and Alexandra Olson. The Alfred F. Havinghurst Prize, divided among Isabel Anderson, Sonia Chage-Wides, Shreya Joshi, and Jaden Richards. The Smith Prizes. First, Jeff Zhang. Second, divided between Hanan Lee. And Catherine Manazar. The Samuel Bowles Prize, divided between Sonia Chage-Wides and Aaron Holton. The Bertram Prizes. First, Camille Schilland. Second, Priscilla Lee. The Nasser Hussein Prize, divided between Tim Carroll, and Camille Schilland. The Frederick S. Lane 36 Fellowship for Creative Arts, divided among Emily Salas, Victoria Thomas, and Malva Week. The Robert H. Broish Prize in Mathematics, Karen Kong. The Robert H. Broish Prize in Statistics, divided between D.A. Mahwani, and Emma Strawbridge. The Five College Statistics Prize, divided among Lucas Bernstein, Wendy Espinoza, and Oren Tershwell. The Walker Award in Mathematics and Statistics, divided among Kyla Biscocho, Kevin Dye, Osha Jones, Karen Kong, Admire Majira, Nika Jafarnia, Emma Strawbridge, and Anna Zhao. The Wise Award for Collection Research, Jacinta Smith in absentia. The Wise Award for Studio Art, Callie Van Leeuwen. The Sylvia and Irving Lerner Piano Prize, divided among Jacqueline Kim, Peter Klishevich, Harris Panner, and Annika Ridke. The Mishkin Prize, divided between Nicholas Edwards Levine, and Jeffrey Zhou. The Lincoln Lowell Russell Prize, Anika Bajaj. The Eric Edward Sundquist Prize, divided between Alma Clark, and Phoebe Nielsen. The James Olds Memorial Neuroscience Award, divided among Gilbert Crescencio, Alyssa Zhu, and Alexander Yan. The Gail Kennedy Memorial Prize, Jason DeGraff. The William Warren Stifler Prize, Melanie Huck. The Physics and Astronomy Prize for Teaching and Community, Ella Hers. The Densmore Barry Collins Prize, Isabella Malmquist. The Robert C. Vogel 60 Senior Thesis Prize, divided between Ethan Neuschwander, and Jesus Ramirez Tapia. The Haskell R. Copeland Memorial Award, Vaughn Armour. The Bancroft Prizes, divided among Revival Afalabi, Gilbert Crescencio, Oren Tershwell, And Thomas Ye. The Mosley Prizes. First place divided between Isabel Perozic, and Sonia Chaget-Wides. Second place, Khadija Diallo, in absentia. Third place, divided between Jesus Ramirez Tapia and Catherine Holding, in absentia. The Mikhail Schweitzer Memorial Book Award, Merrick Lawson. The Rose Ulver Prize, divided between Aspen Enfis in absentia, and Rachel Scholar. The Pedro Gracias Prize for Excellence in Spanish, divided between Brianna Cajamarca and Ethan Neuschwander. And finally, the Raymond Keith Bryant Prize, Erica Andrade. Congratulations to all of our award recipients. And it is now my great pleasure to introduce the Amherst College Glee Club to perform "Oh Amherst," composed by James Shelley Hamilton, class of 1906, with revised lyrics by the classes of 1961, 2019, 2020, and 2022, and led by Ariana Bella.
Praises to the college on the hill, we shall sing them wherever we may be. For the name of Amherst College resonates and always will, both at home and across the sea. Both at home and across the sea. From its classrooms and athletic fields, where Amherst shines its light, and to it we shall ever be true. Amherst welcomes all the challenges that come within its sight, and looks around for more when there are few. Oh, Amherst, our Amherst, 'tis a name known to fame from shore to shore. May it ever be glorious, till the sun shall climb the heavens no more. founding back in 1821. It's excelled as the college on the hill. For the memories of its graduates and honors they have won abide here among us still. Abide here among us still. You may talk about your Wesleyan, your Williams, and the rest, for your schools will always play their part. But give us a Ferris College, which has proven it's the best. Till the end it will be in our hearts. Oh, Amherst, our Amherst, 'tis a name known to fame from shore to shore. May it ever be glorious, till the sun shall blind the heavens no more. Take us home. Oh, Amherst, our Amherst, 'tis a name known to fame from shore to shore. May it ever be glorious, till the sun shall blind the heavens no more.
Thank you, President Elliott, Provost Humphrey, and the Glee Club. Hello, class of 2025. My name is Ruth, and I join my fellow class marshals, Jameson and Kevin, in celebrating the last day of class and welcoming you to our senior assembly. We now have the great pleasure of recognizing this year's honorary class members. Each year, the senior class elects staff and faculty to be honorary members of the graduating class. These individuals have made a difference in the lives of students throughout their time at Amherst, going above and beyond to serve the student body and generate meaningful and lasting interactions. At this time, I would like to invite this year's honorary members of the class of 2025 to please join us in front of the stage. As I call their name, each member will be presented with a 2025 Conway Class Cane and certificate. This year's honorary class members are Reneé Álvarez, Alyssa Carlotto, Jeramie Marquez, Professor Patricia B. O'Hara, Agnes Ting, Michael A. Riley.
Another time-honored tradition at Amherst College is selection of student speakers by the senior class. Today, as part of the Senior Assembly, we'll hear from 2 members of the class of 2025, and on Sunday, May 25th, we'll hear from this year's commencement student speaker, Tom Yi. Our first speaker is Olamiposi, Olly, Ajao, an economics major from Abuja, Nigeria. Please join me in welcoming Olly.
Proud. I could not be more proud of how far this class has come. We started this journey in the most Amherst way possible, an assigned reading. And in the most Amherst way possible, half of us didn't do it. Shayla Lawson's This Is Major, Notes on Diana Ross, Dark Girls, and Being Dope, is about Black womanhood, and it teaches us all a powerful lesson. The world will try to define you before you even get the chance to define yourself. From the moment we arrived here, many of us were labeled. The STEM genius, the future politician, the athlete. On their own, these labels are beautiful things to be. But what happens when you don't fit? Or when the labels feel too small for everything you're becoming? What happens when you're the first in your family to go to college, carrying the weight of expectations so heavy it keeps you awake at night? Or when you realize halfway through chem lab that you actually kind of hate science? We've been taught that we have to be certain about our careers, our futures, ourselves. But the truth is, none of us are finished products, because identity isn't a destination. It's a messy, beautiful, and often ridiculous journey of becoming. And if we're lucky, we never stop becoming. The act of becoming doesn't get celebrated enough. We're good at celebrating the big stuff, the awards, the internships, and the fellowships. But what about the moments of quiet resilience, the times we showed up for ourselves when no one was watching? We should be celebrated for every step forward and every stumble along the way. Growth isn't just about success. It's about the struggle, the challenges we overcome, and the lessons we learn in the process. Shayla Lawson reminded us that the world we inherit is far from perfect, but that means there's no reason to expect perfection from ourselves. We are not perfect, but we are perfect for this world. We've grown up in a world of uncertainty. We entered during COVID, and now we're leaving at a time when we have to start buying our own groceries, and the price of eggs makes me wish I majored in chicken farming. But we learned early on that tomorrow is never promised, and yet here we are, still standing, not despite these experiences, but because of them. This world needs us because we've already lived through the chaos, and we're not afraid to call it out. We are not a generation that bends the knee to injustice. We push back, we demand better. We are builders, fighters, dreamers, and exactly what this world needs right now. I want to take a moment to give Amherst some credit. I grew up in this town, so I don't know that I always appreciated it in the same ways others did. But lately, that's been changing. As many of you know, I've been doing a 30-day series where I try something new. Where I try something new every day before graduation. Today is day 12, and the task is to give a speech in front of a large crowd. So here we are. Over the past few days, I've pushed myself in surprising ways. I sat at dinner with the men's hockey team. I sang in Times Square. I put out a fire, played golf and forged heels. I spoke only Chinese for a day, which, as you can guess, meant I barely spoke at all. And I basically just said yes to life. And I realized I could say yes so easily because Amherst is a place where yes is the default, where professors say, yes, your ideas matter. And friends say, yes, you should lie on your resume and apply for that job. Of course, saying yes didn't always go smoothly. Sometimes it meant getting way too ambitious. If you've ever cranked out a 20-page paper in one night and submitted at 11:59 p.m., then you know what I'm talking about. But even in the chaos, our strengths grew. our courage, our resilience, our compassion, Amherst didn't just teach us, it grew us. It taught us that the strongest conversations happen when someone says, "I disagree," and then stays at the table. As we step into the world, the question isn't just, what will you do? It's, who will you be? Define it for yourself, but I hope you'll be someone who brings your full self to the table, someone who listens even when it's hard, someone who stands taller when the world tells you to shrink, someone who understands that perfection was never the goal, growth was. And growth only happens through the act of becoming, through trying, failing, and trying again. So, class of 2025, fail hard and fail fast, and then pick yourself up, learn and keep moving forward. And when the world tries to tell you who you are, remind it that you know better. Be big, and then be bigger than big. You're an Amherst mammoth, stubborn, courageous, and impossible to ignore. You get to define yourself and keep redefining again and again. The journey doesn't end today, but it's not necessarily beginning today either. We've been becoming all along, and we will keep becoming long after we walk across that stage. And I, for one, cannot wait to see who we all become.
Thank you, Olly. Our next speaker is Stormie King, an architectural studies and art and the history of art major from Bentonville, Arkansas. Please join me in welcoming Stormie.
Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. We've all heard this saying, but I prefer an amended version. Say you're already on the moon and people will believe you, just like the US government did in 1969, am I right? I'm just kidding. My point is, fake it till you make it. At the Loeb Center, they may have told you, don't fake it, don't lie on your resume. But I would argue that everybody has faked it at least once. I mean, hey, I know I have. Was I president of the French floor junior year? Yes. Can I speak French? Un poco. Knowing everything about everything is impossible. I am looking at you, triple majors, a dying breed. Let's have enough humility to recognize our inexperience, but carry enough confidence to believe our grit and determination will see us through. Compare the green, timid, unemployed freshman you once were with the wise, confident, unemployed senior who is about to get their diploma. The last 4 years have changed you. Consider this. How would you like to change further in the next 4 years? Once you know where you want to be, fake it till you make it. So you think you can dance. Buy those metal shoes and start tapping until you're as good as intersections. You want to be a journalist? Start following around Michael Elliott and you might be good enough for the Amherst Student. Do you dream of one day running a marathon? Start with 1 mile and soon you'll be able to run with the cross-country team. I'm not saying we should lie, not necessarily. I'm saying we should all live aspirationally. I have a confession. Freshman year, I lied to my dentist twice. First, I told him that I floss regularly, and then came the second lie. When he asked me what I did at school, I panicked and told him that I was in Amherst's improv group, GADS, when I definitively was not in the group. The only thing lamer than doing college improv is pretending to be doing college improv to impress your dentist. Although I was faking it then, I eventually got into the group, and what I once hoped for became my reality. We once dreamed of attending a storied institution like Amherst, and now, here we are, Recently, while searching for post-grad wisdom, I stumbled upon my diary entry from the night before first-year orientation. When I wrote it, I was sharing a bed with my mom in a hotel room in Hadley. The anticipation of the next day was overwhelming, and I was worried that I was completely in over my head. I was 21 hours away from home and about to move into a one-room triple in Appleton with 2 strangers. I also had a genuine fear first semester, as I'm sure most of you did too, that Amherst had made a mistake and that I would crumble under the pressure. I had to remind myself that I was not attending Amherst by chance, that I, just like all of you, had worked incredibly hard to get to where I was. The hours of work added up to something, even if I wasn't sure what they were adding up to at the time. If it's not too self-indulgent, I'd like to share a snippet of that diary entry. August 24th, 2021. I need to remember that I am capable, smart, creative, and hardworking. I won't let myself fall behind. I will advocate for myself. I just need to breathe and put my best foot forward. My life is about to change so much, and I think it will be good change. I'm excited to see who I am on my own. Let's hope it's everything I hoped it would be and more. This resonates today the same way it did 4 years ago, because I have a sneaking suspicion, looking out at all of us graduating seniors, that right now we feel the exact same way. Our lives are about to change so much, and I am so excited to see who we will become on our own. If the last 4 years have proved anything, it is that even when you don't feel like you know what you're doing, you will figure it out. Personally, I am not convinced anyone ever knows what they're doing. By the way, has anyone heard from housing recently? We are all about to leave Amherst and move to unexplored new places and start daunting new jobs and programs, or discover new corners of our parents' basements. As we embark on this next phase, dare to perceive yourself in ways you never thought possible. Who knows the version of you that you will become? Maybe you'll be that famous dancer or that renowned journalist or finally run that marathon. And hey, maybe one day you will help NASA finally make it to the moon. We have faked it, class of 2025, and now we have made it. Thank you.
Thank you, Stormie. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our faculty speaker, Professor Stefan M. Bradley, Charles Hamilton Houston Professor of Black Studies and History. Please join me in welcoming Professor Bradley.
I can't believe you had me here. I am really, really so honored and humbled, as the old people used to say, humbled to be here with you today. I'm thankful for the opportunity to address the class of 2025. I wanted to, let's do this real quickly. If I've ever had you in class before, raise your hand. Look at that, look at that. Bae, I love you. Thank you. Put your hands down. Thank you so much. Look, I wanted to give a special shout to those young people who won awards. That was remarkable and so beautiful to see. Round of applause, round of applause. Round of applause. Okay, all right. They only give me 15 minutes. They called this a pulpit, so I'm assuming we're on Baptist time, so my 15 minutes might be different than theirs. All right. But now let's do this. Can I get a round of applause for everyone who didn't win an award? Look, you all are going to be graduating with all kinds of summa cum laudes and magna cum laudes and cum laudes, and I graduated thank you laude. Right? But hey, look, I'm on this microphone right now. Yeah. Okay, so let's have some fun. When I say class of 25, you say, and still I rise. Class of 25. And still I rise. Ooh, we could do a little bit better. Class of 25. And still I rise. Yeah, we're there now. So I don't know who suggested that I be one of the last faculty members to formally address you, but that person must have been a little bit crazy, perhaps a little courageous because, well, I'll be truthful with you. I'm a legit DEI hire. And I mean it, okay, all right, I published 4 books and got more scholarship, teaching, service, and leadership awards than I got fingers and toes. Yeah, all of that. But I'm serious about this. I'm a DEI hire. Yeah, buddy, I'm the one they warned you about, right? Look, I'm woke AF, as they say. I'm that. Yeah, I've written for the New York Times. Yeah, I listened to the NPR and been on NPR. Yeah, I'm that. No. I'm not stunting. I'm just telling you that I'm woke because I don't sleep, because sleep is the cousin of death. I don't do that. I remain conscious intentionally is what I do. Intentionally, and you could ask my wife, she's up there, she'll tell you. Now, I'm half joking with you, but part of the reason I mentioned my DEI hire status is because some of you will be called a DEI hire when we leave here. Some of you will hear somebody call your former classmates DEI hires. And what I'm hoping is that this will be the last time you laugh about it. What I'm hoping is that you understand that mammoths ran in herds, and that if you did something to one of them, then you did something to all of them. And I'd hope you remember that as you move forward. Let's see if we can do this again. Class of 25. Woo! Let's get to it. So with that said, I'm extremely proud of you for being amongst the brightest and the best in the world as it concerns young people. And I know firsthand how intelligent you are. I know how much you read. It turns out that some of you all weren't doing the reading. She said you're only doing half. So it turns out half of you are not doing the reading. I know how well you analyze material, and I know how well, I know how well you argue and debate. I know. One of the greatest educators of all times, you probably never heard of her, is a woman by the name of Septima Clark. Septima Clark was a freedom fighter, but also a teacher. And I really love that. That's aspirational. She said, we need to be taught to study rather than believe, to inquire rather than affirm. This is the idea. This is what you've been doing all this time, isn't it? This is what you've been doing. You didn't come here to learn what you already knew. With this open curriculum, you took courses that you never thought you should have been able to take before. I would hope that you wouldn't stop doing that as you graduate from here. This is a two-part thing. You graduate from something and you graduate to something. Inquire rather than affirm. Now, I know that you're deeply compassionate and, of course, wonderfully understanding, and these are superpowers, being compassionate and understanding. But I'm coming today to tell you not to understand too much. I know you say, Bradley's up there, he sold the hay. He don't understand what's happening. No, don't understand too much. That's what I'm telling you. Look, where I come from, the old people, I grew up around a lot of old people. The old people, I'm talking about the old people, listen to me. The old people who could have never dreamed of coming to a college on the hill. Those are the old people that I grew up with. They never would have imagined being in a chapel like this without cleaning it first. These are the people that I grew up listening to and learning from. They told me when I was young, they said, and I told you, don't understand too much, follow me. They used to say that even a fool has a story to tell. Even a fool has a story to tell. And so it's imperative, it's a must that we hear these fools' stories. Even if we know they're fools, we hear their stories. But the thing that they followed up with was, don't argue with fools, because people from a distance won't be able to tell who the fool is. So here's the point. Like the young philosopher Kendrick Lamar says, turn this TV off, which also means put the phone down. Continue to read and reflect as you did here. Read hard books. Read thick articles. Continue to do so. And do so without feeling the need to beat somebody over the head with it. But do so also without having to believe everything that you read. You inquire rather than affirm. The issue here is you all will go on to Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 50 companies. You all will go on to the finest graduate schools and professional schools in America. You all will go on to be the finest servants in government and in nonprofits. But what good is it if you don't do it for someone else? That's Charles Hamilton Houston. Of course, he graduated from Amherst College and went on to another school in eastern Massachusetts, in Cambridge, where he got a law degree. And he said that an attorney is either a social engineer or a parasite on society. Now, this is important to note. He wasn't just talking about attorneys. He was talking about young people like you. You get a chance to either advance society or steal from it. You have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. Now, are you still with me? Class of 25. Okay, here we are. So, there are things that I don't want you to understand. I don't want you to understand how the powerful can take advantage of the powerless. I don't want you to understand how some people can celebrate bullies while denigrating the vulnerable. I don't want you to understand how some people think it's okay to ban books. I don't want you understanding that. I want you doing something about that. So, before I let you go out into the world, I'm not done with my 15 minutes of Baptist time. Before I let you go out into this world, I have to teach you a couple things. One of those things, of course, is I have to teach you to fight. And you're looking at me and you're like, you? I know you've seen me without the robe. I know you know my ribs stick out. I'm Professor Slim. That's who I am. I know it. But I'm 150 pounds of thunder. Hey, listen. I'm not afraid of it. Professor, President Elliott, come at me, bro. Come at me. Provost Humphrey, I'm good to my right and I'm good to my left. Just let me know. Just let me know. Listen to me, you should avoid fighting. You should avoid fighting whenever possible. You should. You should. But listen to this. When your time comes, you need to squabble up. That's also from KDOT. But it also comes from my mama, who taught me how to fight when I was young, because my pa, who was a real-life war fighter, who was the guy that didn't dodge the draft, who was the guy who got shot war fighting, the guy who received a Purple Heart, wouldn't teach me violence when I was young because he had seen too much. My mama, who was from Port Gibson, Mississippi, who grew up a black girl in the Jim Crow South, the Jim Crow that Charles Hamilton Houston defeated, who grew up in the Jim Crow South, she said, there's no way, we're in the chapel, so I can't really tell you. Chapel. She said, there's no way I'm not teaching my babies how to protect themselves. And so she had to teach me how to fight. My mama did. And it's hard for you to believe, but I was skinny back then, too. There's some rules when you fight as a skinny person, and I'm going to teach you about them. I'm teaching you to fight as a skinny person. Listen to me careful. So if you've done everything you can to avoid the fight, that is, you've heard out the fool, you've tried not to argue with the fool, then you have no choice but to fight. And when you do fight as a skinny person, there's rules. Number one rule when you're fighting as a skinny person, you have to fight loudly. You have to fight loudly and with clarity. You want to know why? Because you need somebody to come break this up. That's important. That's important because we need to live to tell the story later on. Loudly and with clarity. More important than that, though, if you've done everything you could to avoid the fight, then when you get there, and you listen to me, class of 25, when you get there, then you be sure to hit first and hit hard enough to leave a scar on the ops. You do that so every day when they wake up, they remember you. Here's the big thing. Some of you all think I'm talking about fist fighting, don't you? If you do, you're not following well. Here's the thing, and I want you to hear me well. You'll have to do this scared. You all are graduating. It's nice and safe here. You're graduating into something different. This world is cold right now. There's a lot going on. You're going to have to do it scared. For some people, fighting resistance doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come naturally. Rebellion is not normal. And that's why you'll have to overcome your fears to do it. And the rebellion doesn't always look the same, and the resistance doesn't always look the same, but you'll figure that part out. You know, the funny thing about fights is the ops hit back. Did you know that? The empire strikes back. Did you know that? The empire strikes back. And we're seeing this right now, if you pay attention. For some people, that's enough for them to submit, but not for me, not for my students. When the going gets tough, my students and I worked on that. I was going to say me and my students, but Professor Rhonda Cobham Sanders is here. Where is there she go. There she goes. And she doesn't want me breaking verbs and acting as though I never went to school. When the going gets tough, my students and I, we never switch sides. We switch angles. Yes, that's a Doechii reference. Yes, yes. Listen, where you're going, and that is to success, of course, where you're going, you're not going to be able to fight the same way as maybe you did here. Your bosses and administrators may not always be as nice and as kind and as accommodating as the people on the stage. You might have to switch angles and figure out which way is the most effective way for you to fight for the things in which you believe. So now the final thing that I'll teach you, and I'm getting off this microphone, the final thing that I'm going to teach you is an important lesson that I learned. The title of this lesson is Always Wear Good Shoes and Drink Good Liquor. This might be the last time you see me up here. Always drink good shoes and always... You see, I already started. Yes, always wear good shoes and drink good liquor. I learned this lesson from a pool sharp some 30, 35 years ago. From a pool sharp who used his pool cue, his pool stick, the same way that Michelangelo used his brush, Rossi. I see you over there. The same way that John Coltrane used his saxophone. That's how this man used his pool cue. It was artful. But he told me, in between shots, he told me, he says, you need to take care of the things and people who take care of you. And I'll say it again, you need to take care of the things and people who take care of you. You see these people sitting over here, and sitting back here, and sitting over here, and all these people up here, they've been taking care of you. You may not have always known it. But you take care of the people and things that take care of you. Where's my man David who did the microphones? Thank you, David. The people who are taking pictures so that you live forever, they take care of you. The people with the name tags, they take care of you. You take care of them. Don't forget it. This is what he taught me. And so, you take care of your feet or your wheels or your crutches like Charlotte has. Because they're your primary mode of transportation. You have to maintain them at all costs. And don't be cheeky about it. Don't be cheap about it. Wear good shoes. Because if you plan to go far, you'll need your feet. You'll need your wheels. You'll need your crutches. And your gut. Yes, what about your gut? You have to take care of your gut because your gut gives you intuition. Because your gut is where your ethics are stored. Without your gut being well, you run the risk of becoming a slave to the will of the oppressor. And that's not what we educated you for. That's not what we educated you for. Watch this. If your gut is bad or upset, it's hard for you to stand straight or to sit up straight. You see, your back bends. Amherst College specializes in graduating young people with straight backs, young people who have ethics, young people who have integrity, Sophia. We're proud of that. We graduate people who are proud of who they are, proud of what they have accomplished. I'm looking at all these champions and award winners and graduates in here. They're proud to serve the people and proud to be with the people. And so with that in mind, don't continue to foul your gut by drinking all that White Claw and Old Natty. Don't think I didn't see it all over by Jenkins over here. Don't think I didn't. Look, you know I saw it. I'm sorry. Yeah, you saw it too, Dean. Yeah. Thought you hit it. I saw it. You have to treat your gut as though you have to live, as though 8 billion people on this planet need you to do the one thing that you're supposed to do. One of the 20th century's premier educators, a man named Benjamin Mays, who was the president of Morehouse College when a 14-year-old enrolled in Morehouse College. He became this 14-year-old's mentor. That 14-year-old, of course, when he graduated at about 18 or so, went on to eventually become the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Well, Benjamin Mays said this. This is what he told Martin King in his class. He said, every man and woman is born into the world to do something unique and something distinctive. And if he or she does not do it, it will never be done. And so I came here today to ask you, what is the one thing that you're supposed to be doing? I can't tell you what it is, but I hope you find a way to look into the shiny glass and you'll tell yourself. So, class of 25, as you activate and get into motion, remember this, turn your TV off. Even a fool has a story to tell, but don't understand it too much. Squabble up when necessary and fight scared because we need you. Always wear good shoes and drink good liquor, but be sure not to drink and drive. That's bad. But why shouldn't you drink and drive? Where's my students? Because you might spill your drink. Listen, we love you. We expect the most from you. Send some money back. Now go save democracy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Bradley, for being a part of today's ceremony, for sharing your wisdom, and for being a part of our story and time at Amherst. Thank you. The class of 2025 would like to present you with the 2025 tassel for all you have done to support us throughout our journey. I would like to thank Provost Humphrey, President Elliott, our student speakers, and the Glee Club for being a part of today's ceremony, and extend a congratulations to all of today's award winners and the honorary members of the class of 2025. Let's give them a round. Before I introduce the Glee Club for their final performance, I have a couple of brief reminders. When Senior Assembly concludes, the class of 2025 and guests should remain in their seats so faculty can recess first, followed by the student marshals, at which point students are welcome to leave from any exit. Immediately following Senior Assembly is Senior Celebration, a formal reception for graduates on Val Quad, featuring dinner and live music. Students are reminded to bring appropriate identification for entry and to change out of their cap and gown before attending. We are monitoring the forecast for this evening. In the event of thunderstorms, we will briefly evacuate the tent and restart the events once it is safe to do so. Thank you all for being here today. Maybe we should take this time to pause for a moment because time starts moving very quickly after moments like this. Very rarely do we get a moment of pause to take in the whole reading. Thank you all for being here today. Please join me in welcoming the Glee Club to perform Hymn to Amherst.